This is Totally Disgusted with your host, Derek Andre. All right. I'm back, y'all. All right, I'm back. See, I'm learning how to do this. I don't have no producer, man. I got to do this all by myself. So I'm taking it one step at a time. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. But I've been working on this for quite some time to get it the way I want to get it. And I think I finally got it. So I'm excited about that. All right. So as I stated before, welcome to Totally Disgusted. I'm your host, Derek Andre, on this beautiful Friday. No, it ain't Friday yet. On this beautiful Thursday afternoon. All right. I hope you're all doing well wherever this video may find you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope life is treating you well. If not, tell it. Listen. Derek say, y'all gonna have to do better by me because y'all ain't treating me right and I don't like that. So make sure that life is treating you properly. All right. So, if you are new to this broadcast, to this channel, I need you to do me a favor. Okay. I need you to take a second and I need you to hit that subscribe button. All right, just go on, click it. It don't hurt. It's free. Let's click that subscribe button. And then once you click the subscribe button, the next thing you have to do, you got to do this, y'all. This is a part of this process. You have to click the reminder bell so that you see the finger? When you shake the finger like that, that means you mean it. You never have to miss another video. You ever get fussed at by your parents and they shook that finger at you? You know, when they shook that finger, they meant what they were saying. There was no ambiguity. There was no question about it. When they shake that finger, that lets you know that they mean what they say. So after you click that subscribe button, you got to click that reminder bell. It's all part of the process. All right, y'all. On today's show, you know, I told you this is your outlet. This is where you come when you just want to unwind from the rest of the world because life is so chaotic. We got stuff going on all over the world. We got stuff going on all over the country. We just got stuff going on in people's houses, man. People baby mamas is acting up. People baby daddies acting up, man. You got drama everywhere you look except on Derek Andre TV. That's the only place you don't have no drama. It's peaceful over here, man. It is peaceful over here. We are here, right here, me and you, to just break away and free ourselves from all of the chaos. Because we don't want no chaos. We want peace of mind. We want to smile and laugh and have a good time. That's what we do here at Derek Andre TV. So on Totally Disgusted, this podcast, we here to have a good time. Now, occasionally, you know, when life gets a little out of hand, we might have to talk about some stuff that we don't ordinarily want to talk about. But as long as I can keep it lighthearted, I am going to do just that. And having said that, let's jump right into today's topic. Now, if you are watching this live, feel free to join in the chat. All right, I got the chat open. I believe it should be open. I got the chat open. If you want to engage in this topic, then by all means, put your information in the chat, and I will definitely read your reply, your response, or whatever the case may be, your question. Whatever is in the chat, I will share it with whomever is watching this here video. All right. So here we go. So I am not an original Georgian. All right, I am not a Georgian native. I've been here for about 7 years now. Lived in a few other places, but I've been in Georgia for about 7 years. And I am a St. Louis native. And so every now and then we have to go back to St. Louis. My wife is also a St. Louis native. So every now and then we have to go to St. Louis for certain things. It might be for family visits. Sometimes it's tragedy. We don't always want to have to go if there's a tragedy. But we go, and sometimes we just go because we want to go. But whenever we go to St. Louis, there's certain things that we have to do. Certain places that we have to go. All right. And that usually revolves around food. So today's topic on Totally Disgusted is, if you don't currently live in your hometown, or I'll put a little twist on it, or when you go out of town and you go to a certain place regularly, what is your must-have place to eat? Everybody has their must-have place to eat. You know what I'm saying? You grew up in this place, or you visit this place so regularly, and something was always so good. You have to have your must-have place to eat. So what's yours? So when I go back to St. Louis, all right, now back in the day, I don't eat it as much as I used to. Every now and then I'll get a pinch for this particular restaurant choice. And I know y'all going to be like, really, Derek? But White Castle is always on the list of places to eat when I have to go back to St. Louis. And if it's not on there for myself, it is definitely on there for my wife. Because we don't have a White Castle here in Georgia. All right, we got Crystal. And I'm telling you right now, Crystal is not a White Castle. I am sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody that happens to love Crystal. Crystal is not White Castle. It's just not. I don't care what nobody say. It is not a White Castle. White Castle has a very, very, very specific flavor, okay? Now, they are similar in appearance, okay? They're similar in appearance, but they are not the same. They are not the same. I am sorry, but Crystal is not the same as White Castle. I'll tell you a little story. I just came to visit Georgia. I had never been here before. This was years ago. This was probably in the early 90s. And I was visiting Georgia, and I got in town really, really late. I was traveling by myself. And so I was like, I got to get myself something to eat. There's got to be something that I can stop and get. And so the hotel that I was staying at happened to be right up the road from this place called Crystal. I had never heard of Crystal before, okay? So I was like, you know what? It's late. This place is open. It looks like they sell burgers. I'm going to stop at this place called Crystal. So I dropped my bags off at the hotel after I get checked in, hop back in my car, and I drive over. The drive-thru was pretty empty. By this time, it was maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning. So the drive-thru was pretty empty. So I pull around, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This place looks like White Castle. And so if you've never been to a Crystal before and you've only been to White Castle, you're gonna give it a shot, okay? And so let me pull up Crystal so you can see how much they look similar to White Castle. All right, I'm gonna pull up Crystal on one screen. All right, so this is what Crystal looks like. All right, this is what Crystal looks like. All right, Crystal looks a lot like White Castle. Let me click on this. I'm operating on some different screens here. All right, so that's what Crystal looks like. Okay, Crystal looks like that. Okay, now let me show you what White Castle looks like if there is no White Castle in your neighborhood. Let me show you what White Castle looks like. Let me pull up White Castle again so that you can see how similar they are in nature, so that you'll understand why I felt so doggone violated. All right, so this is White Castle right here. All right, that's White Castle. All right, now you see it. Okay, you see the difference. All right, that's White Castle right there. You see the little burger up there in the little corner, okay? And this, my friend, is Crystal, okay? So as you can see, they appear very similar in nature, okay? They look like they should be pretty much the same. Let me tell you, they are not. So it's late. I'm hungry. All right. I done pulled up in this line. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get these Crystal burgers. All right, there they are. I'm going to go ahead and get these Crystal burgers. I'm going to go back to my hotel room and I'm going to enjoy Crystal. First time. It's got to be like White Castle. So I get in, I get settled down, man. I pull them out. They in the same little small boxes, like a White Castle is in. And I'm like, okay, this is looking promising, okay. Man, I pulled it out. It's about the same size, as a White Castle. It's about this big, the meat, everything looks the same. I pulled it open, and I'm looking down, and they got these onions on there. Onions look like toenails. They was all shaped funny because White Castle got little square onions. They little dehydrated onions are square, man. They just, so these onions were kind of toenail shaped. They look real. And then it had mustard already on it. I said, wait a damn minute. I know doggone well ain't no mustard on this burger. Then I bit into it. No, man. The sadness that I felt in my gut. Because I bought like 6. So I'm expecting this to be like a White Castle. I bought like 6 of them. The disappointment that I felt was mind-boggling. It felt like I bit into one of them paper coasters that have been, you know how you go to somebody's house, they got them little paper coasters that's sitting on their coffee table, them little paper ones, and then it had something sitting on it for a while, so it didn't kind of absorb some water. So it's kind of like a sponge kind of stuff. That's what a Crystal burger tastes like. I was pissed off. Cause wasn't nothing I could do. But I did not expect for Crystal to taste like that. So now, whenever I go back to St. Louis, if I'm having the hankering for a little bit of a burger, I have to go back to what I know and what I love, and that is White Castle. Okay, I got to go to White Castle. I got to get these little sliders right here because Crystal is, by all means and all practical definitions, the work of the devil. Now, if you're watching this and you've been to Crystal, let me know what your experience is. If you've ever had a White Castle. I don't want to know what your experience is with Crystal if you ain't never had a White Castle. Because if all you ever had was Crystal, then you might not like White Castle, and then we can't be friends. If you've had White Castle and then you went and you had Crystal, let me know what your experience was in the comments, all right? I want to know, all right? So that's one thing that when I go to St. Louis, I have to indulge in. If I'm feeling so inclined, because I don't really eat burgers like that anymore, but if I do, I like a White Castle. The other thing is, when we go to St. Louis, we have to get Chinese food. We have to get Chinese food when we go to St. Louis on a trip, on a vacation. We have to get Chinese food. Now, here's the funny part about Chinese food. The funny part about Chinese food is, depending on who you ask, especially in St. Louis, will determine what Chinese restaurant that you have to go to. Because no two people are ever going to agree on what Chinese restaurant is the best in St. Louis. There have been families that have broken up over which Chinese restaurant is the best. So my best friend, he likes a restaurant in St. Louis. It's on Grand. It's called Bing Lao. Then there's some that out in North St. Louis County called Lisa's. And then you got what's the other one? I can sit here, if I pull them up, I can sit here and just run down the list, and everybody who lives in that particular neighborhood likes their particular Chinese restaurant. And if you like one and that you grew up on and that you truly love, and it's away from it, you will drive whatever the distance is to go and get that particular Chinese food. So my favorite restaurant, and Lord, it is breaking my heart to tell this story. My favorite Chinese restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri was called Sunrise Chinese Restaurant. It was over on Grand in the Grand Ole Center. It was not too far from the Fox Theater. It was called Sunrise Chinese Restaurant. When I tell you that had to be the best restaurant that I had ever had. Now I've had Chinese food all over St. Louis, all over the city of St. Louis. And by far, Sunrise was the most flavorful. It had everything. It was one of those Chinese restaurants that you didn't feel like you had to add soy sauce. And you know, soy sauce is a staple, man. It's hard to eat Chinese food, no matter how good it is, without having to add soy sauce. But this, let me show y'all, man. This is the restaurant that used to be, and I say used to be because it is now closed. See that little restaurant right there, man? That's Sunrise Chinese Restaurant. It is now closed. They had some of the best Chinese food that I've ever experienced in my life. And I am so sad that they closed. Okay, so the owner's name was John. John was probably, at this stage, probably in his 70s. And years ago, he had a heart attack. So let me go back a little bit further. So before it was at this location, it used to be actually on Grand Boulevard in St. Louis, Missouri. And it was right across the street from the building that my mother used to work in. So she had been going there for years. And because she was going there, brand loyalty, I guess, I started going there once I was old enough to be able to eat, buy and purchase my own Chinese food. So I would go to Sunrise Restaurant. Well, they moved to the location that's pictured right here on the screen. And maybe about 10 or 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, the owner of the restaurant had a heart attack. His name was John. And John had a heart attack. And so once he had that heart attack, he changed his hours. He used to be open Monday through Saturday, and he was open like from like maybe 10 o'clock in the morning to 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, like most Chinese restaurants, you know, in the area. He was always open during those hours. Well, after he had his heart attack, he stopped working those particular hours. All right. So then he started being only open Monday through Friday from 11 to 4. And so that was a problem for me because by that time I was out in North St. Louis County. I was about maybe 20, 30 minutes away. By the time I got off work, I could never, ever get to him in time. But when I would go back to visit, if we got there during the week, and, you know, we had to stay in St. Louis for whatever reason, and we got there during the week, I could stop and I could grab some Sunrise Chinese food, man. But Sunrise was probably, was, and I keep having to remember to say was high on my list of places to stop and eat when I am home in St. Louis, Missouri. All right. Another place that was high on my list of places to eat. There's a little place in our area. It's a little artsy, trendy area called the Del Mar Loop. All right. And there's a place, and I don't even know if this place is still open or not because I haven't been there in a while. You know, early on when I would move, we would go back. We would try to stop there to grab a bite to eat. But this place was off the beaten path, and it was, strangely enough, it was a Thai pizza company. Believe it or not, it was a Thai pizza company. I just Googled it, and it appears that they are actually closed, and they've been closed. I'm not sure for how long, but they used to have some of the best Thai pizza. So the way they did it was, whatever your favorite Thai food item would be, well, it came in a pizza form. So I like anything with peanut sauce. So I had I forget what the name of the pizza was, but it was shrimp. It was peanut sauce. It was it had sprouts and all that kind of. Man, that was the best pizza, Thai pizza, because I had never had Thai pizza before that. That was the best Thai pizza that I had ever had. And I've had other places that sold Thai pizzas, and they just weren't as flavorful as this place. And I'm kind of disappointed that they're closed too. Man, all my favorite restaurants are closing, man. So, but yeah, that was one of the stops that I would have to make whenever I would visit St. Louis. I would always stop at the Thai Pizza Kitchen over off Delmar. But unfortunately, it is now closed, man. And that is so disappointing, man. So disappointing, because that place was so good. Here's a photograph of it. It just kind of sat off. It just kind of sat off the beaten path. And I don't know if that played into why they closed or not, because a lot of people maybe didn't know that they were there. But I mean, they were off of a main street. It's not like, they were off the beaten path and there was nothing else close to it. They were off, and maybe it was an acquired taste. Maybe not everybody liked Thai pizza, but shoot, the Thai Pizza Kitchen, man, that was my joint. And I'm really sad that they are gone. So, another place that I would visit while I was in St. Louis, because we don't have them here, and this is a chain restaurant, I would go to Lee's Chicken. Lee's Chicken is probably some of the best chicken that you can find, okay? And I don't know if there's Lee's Chicken in other countries, in other cities and states, but I do know that Lee's Chicken is in St. Louis, and that is one of the places. To me, it's better than Church's. It's better than Popeyes. It's better than KFC. I think Lee's Chicken is probably one of the best chicken joints around. I think there's one place. Now, there is one place that I do like. Okay, that is here in Georgia, and that's Publix. I never knew that Publix was good, but Publix has got some pretty good chicken. I think they're rivaling my folks over here at Lee's Chicken, man. So I just pulled it up. It looks like they got a Lee's Chicken in Alabama, British Columbia. They got 3 locations there. They got Lee's Chicken in Florida. They got 1 location here in Georgia, 4 in Illinois, 13 in Indiana, 37 in Kentucky. Wow, they killing the game in Kentucky. 12 in Michigan, 16 in Missouri, 42 in Ohio, 1 in South Carolina, 2 in Tennessee, 1 in Virginia, and 1 in Wisconsin. So if you're ever in any of those states and you want to try some really good chicken, you got your mouth just salivating for some chicken, check out Lee's Chicken. All right. Another thing that you have to get when you are in St. Louis, Missouri, is a Vess soda. Vess soda, I don't know if it's because Vess sodas are just good or if it's just because you can't get them anyplace else. Vess sodas, Red Hot Riplets potato chips. Now, here's a little thing about Red Hot Riplets potato chips that if you like hot potato chips, Red Hot Riplets, and I didn't learn this until later in life, Red Hot Riplets potato chips are hot based upon where you buy them. So if you buy them in places that don't sell a lot of them, they're not that hot. But if you go down in the city of St. Louis and you go into the gas stations, stuff like that, and they sell red hot riplets, they're going to be hot. If you find them in the grocery store in St. Louis, they are going to be hot. But you cannot find red hot riplets, potato chips in many places. It's I don't know, some things like Vess is only in St. Louis, Illinois, Indiana, places like that. So it's basically a Midwestern, I won't say delicacy, but a Midwestern drink, you know. And just like red hot riplets, you cannot find them every city you go to. This is what red hot riplets bags look like. All right. So in case you're ever out and you see them, now you just have to bear in mind that red hot riplets, like I said, depending on where you buy them, if you like really hot potato chips, you will enjoy red hot riplets, but you have to know where to buy them because the heat varies according to location. So you got to know where to buy them. Another good chip that I've only ever seen in St. Louis is it's called Sundance, and they're corn chips. They're like Fritos, but like way better. So this is what the Sundance chips look like. Oops, wrong button. Sorry about that. Give me a second here. This is what the Sundance chips look like. And so you can find them. So I always got the barbecue. I never liked the hot Sundance potato chips. But you can get these maybe in other places, but I've never seen them any place other than in St. Louis, Missouri. So I don't know if that's also a Midwestern thing and you can only get them in certain places. But if you ever see that bag right there, that bag of chips is delicious. And if you like hot chips, definitely get the red ones. The red ones, the hot ones are hot. They are legitimately hot. But I am not a person who really likes the hot ones. I'm more drawn to just the barbecue ones because they are really, really good. And it's a combination of good. It's a combination of a good chip because they're really, really got a good crunch to them and they're cooked differently than like Fritos. But the seasoning on them is fire, man. They are fire. So those are the places that, I'm sorry if I just yelled in your ear. Those are the places that whenever I go back to St. Louis, and those are some of the things that when I go back to St. Louis, I enjoy having. So where do you live or where did you grow up and what do you have to have when you go back? Now, I could have gone into like barbecue joints and stuff like that but I don't even know if some of the places that we ate back then are still open, like C&K. If you want a fried chicken, you can go to London and Sons, but I think London and Sons is closed. But there's a little barbecue joint in North St. Louis, kind of in Jennings. I'm pretty sure it was in Jennings. It was called C&K Barbecue, and let me see if they're still open. C and K Barbecue. See if they're still open because they were open for a very, 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 very long time. Family-owned restaurant. You know how family-owned restaurants are, and they look like they might still be open. Let me see. Hold on. St. Louis, Missouri. Let's see if they're still open. Yep, they are still in business. They are still in business, and it looked like the exact same building that that they were in when I was going. This is C&K. Listen, though, don't let it fool. They had them hot links. Man, them hot links used to be fire, man. They had them rib tips and all of that kind of stuff. That's something that you cannot find in other places, too. You cannot find things like rib tips in other parts of the country. Like down here, it's very rare. There's a place called Jim and Nick's or something. They had rib tips on the menu, and I had never seen rib tips on the menu before. Toasted ravioli. Now you can get ravioli all over the place, but toasted ravioli is a St. Louis thing. I went to a little pizza place when we were there visiting not too long ago called Emo's Pizza, which is another thing that's on the list for my wife. That's why I didn't mention it. My wife likes Emo's Pizza. I'm cool with Emo's, but it is not one of those things that I have to have when I go back to St. Louis. But my wife, if she does not get her Emo's Pizza, she is not going to be happy, and the whole trip is going to be ruined because she did not get her Emo's Pizza. But they have some really good toasted ravioli. All right, and their pizza isn't bad. I'm not a huge fan of thin crust pizza, and so they have thin crust pizza, and they don't use mozzarella cheese on their pizza. I think they use like Provel or provolone. I forget which cheese they use. Let me see if I can find it. They use a different cheese, and it's not bad, but it's Emo's is an acquired taste. All right, and so you have to, like, I got their when I was there, I got their cheese bites, okay, and they were good, but it wasn't mozzarella cheese, so it didn't really hit the same. So they use shredded Provel cheese for their pizzas, and it's not bad. Okay, it's definitely not a bad pizza. And and you have to get it while it's hot. If you get it and it gets kind of cold, and it's a little bit different experience, and all the toppings and sauces and stuff kind of sink down and settle into the crust, it's a different experience. But if you get it while it's hot, it's a pretty good pizza. I'm not gonna knock it. I'm definitely not gonna bash it. But it is not one of those things that I have to have when I go back to St. Louis. So, all right, y'all. So that's basically it. All right, those are my things. So I'm gonna run back through my top things that I have to get. Well, they don't even exist no more. One of them was Sunrise Chinese Restaurant, and they don't exist anymore. They've gone out of business, and which is rare because most Chinese restaurants in St. Louis, especially, have been around for like decades. I mean, they just keep going. Another family member comes along, take it over. But I guess Sunrise did not do that. Sunrise also used to cater to a lot of the Asian students at St. Louis University and Washington University. So along with just chop suey on their menu, they used to have a lot of traditional Chinese items as well. And so a lot of the Chinese students and stuff that went to the university nearby would come to Sunrise because they knew that they can get authentic Chinese food there as well. But so Sunrise is gone, but that was my spot. When I'm feeling like having a slider, definitely have to hit up White Castle because Crystals has ruined me. I have to get my Sundance corn chips. Have to get a Vest soda. You can get a Vest soda pretty much at any little mom and pop restaurant. You can get it at the grocery store. But you got to have the Vest soda. And those are my definites. Those are my staples. It used to be the Thai Pizza Kitchen, but the Thai Pizza Kitchen is also closed. I guess I stopped coming. Maybe that's why they all closed down. All right, y'all. Well, that is it. So let me know what your must-haves are when you go back to your home city, or if you go to a city, if you travel to a city, is there a certain restaurant that you have to stop at when you go to visit this certain city? Like going to Chicago, because I like chicken, got to hit up Brown's Chicken. All right. So if there's certain places that you have to go when you go to a city or when you go back home, let me know what they are in the comments. All right. I'm Derek Andre. Thank you for tuning in and checking me out. This has been Totally Disgusted. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, that ain't my problem. Yeah, it is my problem. Just joking. I hope you enjoyed it, man. I struggle with trying to figure out what to talk about because I told you I'm trying to make sure that whenever you come here, you have a good time. We talk about lighthearted stuff. We're not talking about things that, the rest of the podcasts and people are talking about because I just don't want my mind to be cluttered with drama trying to talk about what this clown in the White House is doing and all of his little minions and what's going on. And I know what's going on in the rest of the world. But just because I know don't mean that I have to be a part of it. All right. So I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I love y'all. Be peace, be love, be one. I'm going to do my outros and my DATV promo. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right. Y'all be good. Be peace, be love, be one. I love you. And I will see you in the next video. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Totally Disgusted. Make sure to like, comment, and tell a friend.